Hello, this tutorial is about getting the benefits of ColorID without actually having to use ColorID. This is especially important for those of us who own Character Creator but do not have the CC Essentials pack, so they can't use the ColorID functionality. Warlord has already created a great tutorial on using ColorID, so those of you who have the CC Essentials pack should visit his tutorial and see how to use it. For those of you who do not have CC Essentials pack, watch this tutorial to get the benefits without the actual functionality. Let's start by identifying what we expect to get from ColorID. ColorID basically allows you to apply multiple materials to a single clothing mesh, or any other mesh for that matter. In a nutshell, you can divide your clothing mesh into different areas by choosing a different color, and then Character Creator can assign different materials to each of these colors. Since ColorID is only available to users with the CC Essentials pack, we're still going to be able to get Character Creator to create the various materials for us, but we're going to have to apply them to our mesh ourselves. Similar to Warlord's tutorial, we are going to start off with a character that's wearing a jumpsuit. However, our jumpsuit was purchased at Lord Ash's warehouse and is featured in the Skydiver set. We start by exporting the UV reference so that we can see which parts of the map we need to color block. Mimicking Warlord's tutorial, I have divided the clothing mesh into three areas: the chest area, the pants area, and the arms area. This was obviously an arbitrary decision because we could have divided the clothing mesh any other way into as many different blocks as we want. This is actually one of the advantages of using this technique, in that there is no limit to the number of color blocks you want to define. Now we return back to Character Creator to export our materials. We start by selecting the jumpsuit and then changing the substance type to matte 3. This will give us access to the various materials that Character Creator can create automatically. Next, we start the appearance editor and select the first material. Obviously, we can tweak any of the settings here for the material, but for the purpose of this example, we're just going to select a quick material and use that. Now comes the tedious part. We close the appearance editor and open the materials tab. Here we can see that the material has generated a bunch of map files for the various components of the material. We need to export each one of these into our favorite editor and save them. To recreate the material exactly, you'll need to export each one of the files: the diffuse map, the opacity map, the bump map, the AO map, the metallic map, the roughness map, the displacement map, and the glow map. Once this is done, we reopen the appearance editor and select our second material, repeating the process as we did for the first. That's right, you guessed it. After we finish the second material, we go back to the appearance editor and select our third material, repeating the process. In our case, we only divided our content into 3 color blocks, so the third material selection will be the last. Lastly, we have to use our favorite paint program to combine the materials together. Since I like to use free software, I will be using Paint.net for this purpose. Paint.net is a program that has lots of features, but is still freely available. However, you should be able to do the same technique using almost any software that supports layers and selection across multiple layers. We start with our color block and then add layers, one for each one of our materials. Next, we paste the contents that we exported previously for each material into the different layers that we created. We will have to repeat this process for each type of map, so I'm starting here with the diffuse map. Next, we click on the color block layer and then select one of the material colors. Next, we invert the selection to select everything but the selected color. Now we select our first material layer and press the delete key. This will delete everything from the map except where that material is present in the color block. Next, we repeat the same process for the other 2 colors in the color blocks using the 2 remaining materials. Now the last thing that we do is remove the color block layer and then merge the 3 layers together to create a combined layer that has all 3 materials in it. Congratulations, you now have a combined diffuse map. Just repeat the same process for the other types of maps and you will be ready to bring them into Character Creator. If you've done everything correctly, you should now be able to load the combined maps in Character Creator to get the effects of ColorID without actually having the ColorID functionality. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and please don't take this tutorial to mean that I'm not supporting the CC Essentials pack. It's a great pack, lots of features, but not everybody has the money to buy it.